Hey guys, let's have another big time matchup this week, and that's Georgia versus Tennessee. And let's get right on into it. Tennessee's been taking the late money. They've started out their season really good. Georgia's a 3.5 point favorite right now. 78% of the money's coming in on Georgia, 93% of the bets. All this is on PFF. There's an implied cover probability 48.3% for Georgia, 51.7 for Tennessee. And let's get right on into the stats of the game. And this is the PFF grades. You can see Georgia overall got an 87.3 grade against Marshall, 84.9 against Austin P. And this will also kind of give you an idea where Georgia's strengths and weaknesses are as a team. You see they got a really good run defense. Their pass rush has not been that good at 59.8 in week one, 69.3 in week two. They got really good pass blocking on the offensive line. And you can also look down at Tennessee's PFF grades 90.1, 89.9. So very similar there. That's not the end all be all to handicapping, but at least shows some level of kind of both teams being on a somewhat even playing field. Tennessee has a really good passing attack, and their pass rush in against Syracuse I thought was better than the grade that they got for it. But kind of rebound against East Tennessee State. You can see they're just very solid across the board. And but I think it's a team that's kind of going a little bit different. I think Georgia's been a really good defensive team and kind of struggled on the offense side of the ball. And I know the PFF ratings point good at Tennessee, but against Tennessee or against Syracuse, I mean they kind of gave up some big chunks of yardage in that game. So it's gonna be curious to see. You got the strength against a weakness and a weakness going against a strength. And this is Georgia's offensive profile. You can see they really don't have explosive plays. They're passing explosive way down, rush explosive way down. They're really good about getting a third and manageable. They're kind of to me, they kind of have like the Kansas City Chiefs. They just always find their way in like a third and short, and they're just very tough to get off the field. They don't do it flash. They don't go 50 yards at a time. And as a matter of fact, their last game they actually had zero explosive plays. And the defensive side is really good. But that's Georgia football. They're always going to play tough defense. They're really good about getting their opponents in third and long. Rushing EPA per play. They're very stout. They can be a little vulnerable against the pass a little bit. And we'll click right on over to Tennessee. See, Tennessee is very good at getting opportunity yards on the offensive line. Passing explosive is kind of down. I kind of maybe have to disagree. I think my eyes watching the game would tell me that should probably be a little higher than it is. But these stats are not being they're not biased. This is just like raw numbers based on what they've done. So take that with a grain of salt. Tennessee on the defense side of the ball is that's where they really showed some weakness. Uh, what I've noticed with them is they kind of like to blitz a lot, and when the blitz gets home or they can confuse the quarterback, they tend to make big plays. Whenever the blitz doesn't get home or a receiver can break off man coverage, then they get gashed down the field for a good amount of yards. So we'll see how Tennessee comes out this game. If they're going to be aggressive or if they're going to play a little more passive. And this is also Georgia's other stats. They're I'd say kind of a average to above average team so far in the year. On the defense side of the ball, 16th in EPA per play, 26th in EPA per game, 37 success rate against the pass. They've been kind of I'd say average. Their strength has been against the run. On the offense side of the ball, a little weak on the pass side. 48th, 54th. They're 23rd in success rate. And you knew coming in with Carson Beck being gone and Gunnar Stockton coming in, I figured it'd be ran more like the old school where Georgia really wants to run the ball, and they're not going to put it in the hands of Stockton to try to win the game for them if they don't have to. So the stats kind of back that up, I think, a little bit. And then you get right on into Tennessee, and on the offensive side of the ball, it's looking real jam up for Tennessee. Total EPA 13th, EPA per game 12th, success rate 20th. And on the defense side of the ball, you can see a whole lot of bad colors down there. Like on these, you don't want to see purple, and almost on the defense side of the ball, you see nothing to purple. So uh, I think against Georgia, Tennessee is going to be really up against. They do have it as a home game, so that's certainly gonna help. Like I said, you got Tennessee's had a really good offense going against Georgia, whose defense has been stout. But then you got Georgia's, whose offense has not been great going against the Tennessee defense is vulnerable. I think I'm gonna have to go with Georgia just because I kind of feel like Georgia's had Tennessee's number a little bit, kind of like how Tennessee's had Alabama's number, kind of that kryptonite. And I think somehow Georgia's going to find a way to get the job done, win the game. I'm going to excuse them for the last game. Maybe they were holding back on the playbook a little bit, trying to save it for this game. But it should be a close matchup. I'd be shocked if it was, more than double digits. I think Georgia wins, you know, 24-17. I think it'd be a lower scoring game. If you're looking at other bets, maybe the under might be a way to go, or Tennessee team total under. Maybe Georgia's defense can hold them down good. And that's all for this video. Thank y'all for watching.